Hey everybody, it's your girl Pajama with Pajama Life, and today it's the dynamic duo. Woo! Our buddy David's a little under the weather, so he won't be able to join us, but we are excited to be here today. Patrick, say hey to the people.
Hey everybody, glad you're all making it. I hope our buddy Dave is feeling better, and we can't wait to talk about what we got going on.
All right, and today we have some really interesting movies we're reviewing. We're reviewing Past Lives and Anatomy of a Fall. These are the last two Best Picture nomination movies we're going to watch, and then we're going to talk about our Oscar predictions for tomorrow's Oscars. But I want to give a toast to my buddy for introducing me to this is beer called a Hawaiian Boom Boom from American Solera. And Pat has with him the mug from American Solera. So, American Solera, if you want to sponsor us.
I am a missionary for this beer because I've drank a lot of beer over the years, and let me tell you what, this is probably some of the best sour fruity. I mean, it does not taste like a beer, but it's an imperial fruited sour gose. It's got salt. So it gets that flavor really popping in it. It's imperial, so it's got a little bit higher ABV. It is an amazing beer. I could do a show on the beer. It's
Okay,
amazing.
so
This
show
good.
is not that. We'll get back
But
to a show based on beer. But right now, let's take a peek at Past Lives.
There's a word in Korean, inyeon. It means providence or fate.
Do you believe in that?
That's just something Koreans say.
What a good story this is. Childhood sweethearts who reconnect 20 years later and realize they were meant for each other. In the story, I would be the evil white American husband standing in the way of destiny.
Shut up.
Did he miss you?
Haesung!
I just can't compete. It's just that you make my life so much bigger. And I'm wondering if I do the same thing for you.
Ooh, had to take a sip. Pat, what did you think of Past Lives?
I really, really like this movie. I mean, the pacing was perfect for this kind of thing. And as someone who's gotten older, and you had friends that have went away and people you thought you'd be always connected to, and you see how it works when you get back together and you reconnect with them and stuff. I mean, there was a lot of really resonance for this. I mean, well done all the way around, and it was beautifully shot. If you saw some of the little bit of the trailer there, even just some of the things were the two paths, and they totally looked different paths too, and they were. And when they separated, as children, and they came back together, later in their lives, and the complication that she's in a relationship and he's just, it was very well done. I mean, I really am glad to see the Academy getting into foreign films and making them contenders for Best Pictures, because there's a lot of great stuff that doesn't just come out of Hollywood and California. And this is another great example of the Asian film production companies that are putting out some really top quality stuff. And I love this movie.
It is so beautiful to me. There is so much in the pauses, in the in-betweens. There's just a world of emotion. And it's, I'm a sucker. So it's so romantic too, this unrequited love. And that spans over they're young, they're only in their 30s. But it just is, the acting was so amazing because there's not a lot of dialogue in this, but you can feel the emotion that they have for one another. And but to me, the real story is Na Young's love of herself and what she was willing to do to remain true to herself. Oh, it was just so beautiful. And I just thought, this one, I would have picked the director of this movie over Juliet Tria for Anatomy of a Fall, because I just think that she did so much with not a lot of words. So people's bodies and their pauses, and it's just amazing. Now, this is a romantic movie that is, to me, it's a date movie. Some people might not, but I sorry, this is really just one of the most beautiful movies of the last year, and I'm so glad it's widely now. You can see it on Showtime, Paramount Plus, and I definitely recommend this movie. We'll talk more about it in our Oscar discussion, but yeah, thumbs way up if you like romance, if you like unrequited love, but if you also like, I think this is a great story for International Women's Month, and about self-love. This is it. Definitely check out Past Lives. Okay, up next is our second it's a women's month movies this month, Anatomy of a Fall. Let's take a look.
I don't know what happened. I think he fell off that third floor. The window's open.
So, as you know, the autopsy report is inconclusive about the cause of death.
Stop. I did not kill him.
That's not the point.
You're violent!
You complain about the life that you chose. You're not a victim. Not at all.
Be fair. I'm a man who's been cheated on.
You had a fight the day before he died. You need to start seeing yourself the way others are going to perceive you.
You have to tell them exactly like you remember it. They're innocent, you know that, right? I just want you to know one thing. I'm not a monster.
Okay, this one is it's interesting pick. Why France did not enter this as their selection for foreign language film, I don't know. But this is an interesting kind of whodunit movie, because all throughout you're not quite sure if she did it or not. And even at the end, I watched it again and I'm like, I don't know if I'm sure what happened. And so Sandra Hüller, who also did an amazing job in Zone of Interest. She plays two really strong, difficult women. I mean, this role, I mean, it's a hard role because she's not always likable, and that marriage is not a likable kind of situation. So it leads you to all different kind of thoughts about it. And it's I can see why the Academy picked this. It's kind of like The Father a couple of years ago. And how that kind of resonated with the Academy. And I think this one may have that same resonance. But if you're married, this is a hard movie to watch if you're married, because in one of the scenes is a very hard discussion that sometimes couples have, but at some point it's a destructive kind of situation, and you just sometimes can't come back from that. But I mean, no one is really likable. It's one of those kind of movies, so you don't know who to trust in the movie. So it's really something else. But it's definitely well acted, and it's definitely something that's not a standard feel good kind of movie. So, I would say watch it for the performances and the interesting story, but I don't know. It's not one like I watched it again just to make sure for these shows, and I'm still kind of like, I'm not sure if I love it. So, you know, but you watch it and then let us know what you think. I know, Pat. What do you have any thoughts just from the trailer you saw on that?
No, I mean, it seems intriguing. It has that stillness. I noticed that a lot of
Mhm.
foreign films, like, which American films, to be honest, tend to be a little bit more
Loud.
ADD,
Yeah.
attention deficit. You got to get something on quick, or else you're going to lose audience. Whereas I see foreign films tend to
Yeah.
allow things to
To
develop organically
build.
rather than force them. And I think we could
Yeah.
do it. I mean, American films could take a lesson from that and just let things grow. So, I mean, it looks interesting. I wish I'd had a chance to see it. I just don't have that streaming service yet. So here we go.
Yeah. So definitely check out Anatomy of the Fall. Okay, now we're gonna get into it because that was our last two of the Best Picture nominees. And so now we're gonna talk about what we're predicting for the Oscars. So let's bring up the list of best pictures and then we can do a couple more too. Let's take a peek. We have American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest. Okay, so of this list, we've reviewed all of them on our show. So, if you want to go back and take a look and see, go back and take a look at our reviews, weekly reviews. But Pat, what is your favorite now that you've seen pretty much all of these? Tell me what you think now of all the movies.
You know, my favorite is not probably the one that I would pick to win if I were putting money on it. I really, really liked American Fiction, to be honest. Out of
Uh-huh.
all of them, I thought it was just so sharp and biting of a satire about the publishing industry and the relationships of the brothers, and just everything in it was just really, really well done. I did love that a lot. If I were to be betting on the one that's going to win, would have been my second choice is Oppenheimer. I loved it. It was just gorgeously shot. Christopher Nolan knows what he's doing. You just need to give him the money and get out of his way and let him do his thing, because
Yeah.
it was amazing.
Yeah.
That's how I would go on those two. I mean, but I really liked American Fiction a lot better. It was a much more entertaining movie for me. Oppenheimer was gorgeous. It was well done.
Yeah.
But it wasn't as, I guess, entertaining, for lack of a better word.
And I want to say, I'm torn between American Fiction and Oppenheimer, as you are, for favorites, because I think that they do a couple of interesting things with potentially difficult subject matter. Talking about racism in literature, it's not discussed very often. And what gets put out in the genres, in order to make it. So I think this is a story that could resonate particularly with a lot of the Hollywood, the Academy, because of different stories not being able to get told because corporate Hollywood wants, a movie to make money. So you might not see, a quiet, soft movie, but you'll get Mission Impossible 17 or Fast and the Furious.
Fast and the Furious is what I was going to go with for the most overdone thing. Yes.
I think there's even going to be another Fast and Furious. So they keep
I
saying,
think she's called old and
last
decrepit
one.
by this point. I'm just saying,
Yeah, but something quiet like Past Lives doesn't get that much promotion until the Oscars, even though that's one of the most beautiful movies in terms of story of the year. So it's I'm hope if either one of them were to win, I would be happy. It would be like an upending if American Fiction won, and I would be so excited. I just don't think it will, but I'm rooting for it. I'm rooting. All right, let's take a look at, what's interesting before we leave? That Killers of the Flower Moon has kind of fallen off the radar in terms of how much promotion and people talking about it and what people I just don't, as much as it did get, it has really kind of fallen off. So
I don't think we're talking about the right category for Killers of the Flower Moon. I think there are stronger pictures. I think there's I think for actress Lily,
let's pull up Best Actress category. Okay. While he's doing that, Lily Gladstone and the Annette Bening for Nyad, and I think it's coming up. Here we go. Annette Bening for Nyad, Lily Gladstone for Killers, Sandra Hüller for Anatomy of a Fall, Carey Mulligan for Maestro, and Emma Stone for Poor Things. I think it's a two-way race between Lily Gladstone and Emma Stone. What is my favorite is Annette Bening and Nyad. I just can't talk more about how Nyad made me feel. I just felt so happy and inspired, and I was rooting, like yelling at the screen, please make it, don't give up, and it was just, that just made me feel so good. Now I had the opposite reaction from Emma Stone in Poor Things, and you can check out my book to movie review that's on the channel too, at how infuriating and how sexist and how just terrible that movie made me feel. So, but there's a lot of debate about it. So I think it's something people love, I think, and I also think it's something that's very polarizing. Pat, what are you thinking?
Well, I'm looking through those. I would like to see Lily Gladstone win. I think she will win, just for the simple fact that, she's a nobody that's come out, or an unknown that's came out and just really hit it out of the park.
Yeah.
I liked Emma Stone. But I thought her performance was really good. In fact, it was all over the place, and I loved it because it was so ridiculous. But she's been a thing for a while. I have a feeling that the Academy might go, oh, we don't want to give it to her because she's had lots of chances. Let's give it to Lily Gladstone or something like that. I don't know about the politics. I liked Emma Stone's performance a lot. It was amazing to me, and very brave, very daring performance, I would have to say. Regardless of, I didn't read the book, so I have no comparison you do. But just watching the movie, I thought it was delightful. It was hilarious. I thought. So just different, and yeah, that's it. That's what I would say.
Look at my review, and you'll get the whole shebang about what I think. But yeah, I understand. Some people love it for the visuals, and some people find it very polarizing. So I think there's some backlash forming that might kind of impact Emma Stone's chances, but I want Annette Bening to win. I just want.
She's got her statues already. That's why I'm thinking Lily
No, no,
Gladstone.
does she? I don't think she has a.
Did she not get one for Bugsy?
I don't think so.
I'd have to
I
look back, but
Yeah, but I
she's
think
been
that
nominated several times though.
she's been nominated several times, so they might kind of cancel each other, and maybe it'll leave room for Diana Nyad's story. Go watch it if you haven't watched it. Let's pull up my favorite category are the writing categories, and let's pull up adapted screenplay. I think that has so much exciting stories in it that are unique, including American fiction, which I'm hoping may win. Even if it doesn't win Best Picture, I'm hoping it wins adapted screenplay. But this may be where they may give it to Barbie. But adapted screenplay, we have American Fiction, Barbie, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest. But yeah, this is a monster category in terms of story. The way that they were able to adapt these stories, and I've read almost all of them. And I tell you, Oppenheimer, to translate that into what went on the screen, that was incredible. But my favorite has to be American Fiction. I think that is something that what he did, Cord Jefferson wrote and directed it. And what he did there was take it's a complicated book because there's a lot of stuff going on. And to synthesize that down into something very interesting and funny. And what they did at the end really was an interesting way to tell the story. I don't want to give it away, but it's very clever what they do. But this is I like to say this is the grandbaby of Hollywood Shuffle and Bamboozled. Those are two great movies if you haven't seen them that also talk about the Black experience in Hollywood. Those are from the actor and kind of writing, producing, and then this movie is about writing. So it's very clever and so unexpected how they adapted it. That's my favorite. Pat, what do you think?
Well, I really, since I have not read all the works, you've read a lot more than I have. I just looking at what I've seen as far as good screenplays out of that grouping. I would have to say American Fiction was amazing. Oppenheimer would be my second choice, to be really honest.
Yeah.
As far as really condensing what I know was a lot of stuff going into. I mean, they brought a lot of stuff together in a very coherent way that told the story of the man as much as that did about the creation of the atom bomb. So, I mean, there was a lot of stuff going on there that I really liked a lot. And, I didn't hate Poor Things either. So,
Yeah. And the thing about Poor Things, the book, that is what disappointed me about the movie was there's a whole nother story about Victoria McCandless. And that is extremely interesting, that if he would have tacked on some of what that part of the book was, that could have been just a mind-blowing, like amazing way to tell this, to bring the book to life. But he chose the least interesting part of it to tell the story, and it's just not great, but definitely interesting. Go ahead, Pat.
I know you disagree. I thought it was great. I loved the movie. Yeah. I know one thing me and Pam have disagreed on. If you want to go back and look at, like she said, the old shows, yeah, this is something we headbutted about this. I thought Poor Things was delightful. It reminded me of Terry Gilliam movies. the Monty Python animator who did Fisher King and all of the Monty Python movies, of course, and so I mean, there's a lot of great stuff in it, I thought, but I understand we have different opinions, and that doesn't mean hers is invalid or mine's invalid. It's just different ways of looking at it.
Well, what category, and this will be our last kind of prediction, are you looking forward to and hoping that someone will win?
I want to see American Fiction win a little bit more than I think it's going to be, because I thought it was a much better movie than the buzz has been about it. I know Oppenheimer's amazing. Don't get me wrong. Christopher Nolan is a demigod among directors. Everything he does is well done. Yeah. I mean, he is a Ridley
and
Scott.
It's always interesting.
Yeah, I mean, and there's certain directors movies I will watch just because they directed it. I'll go watch a Quentin Tarantino movie. I'll go watch a Ridley Scott movie.
Yeah.
I would watch a Christopher Nolan movie just when it comes out. Even if I'm unfamiliar with the material, I know it's just going to be good because he does such interesting things, but all of them do. I still haven't seen Napoleon. Forgive me, Ridley Scott, if you're watching this. But I'm just saying that there's certain things that I just really loved American Fiction a lot. It was a surprising thing for me that I considered it as great as some of these two, another director that I just love everything he does. So this is maybe his first big entry into, getting me into watching everything he does. I like to see him do some more.
Yeah. Cord Jefferson also did the Watchmen series on HBO. He was a part of that. And that was incredible. If you haven't seen that, go see it. It's a beast. It's a beautiful, interesting show. And I think we're going to see a lot more from him. I think the way that he writes is really interesting with American Fiction, and then his direction of it. He could have went a standard Hollywood kind of way, but he didn't. A couple of choices I wasn't fond of, but I get what he did. And it really is something that I think a lot of people can enjoy. Give it a chance. If you're on the fence about it, don't be. Hop on over to American Fiction. I think the category I'm looking forward to is Best Supporting Actress, because I want Jodie Foster to win. I know that Divine Love Randolph for The Holdovers and Danielle Brooks, which you liked a lot, Pat. But Jodie Foster, she had my heart in this in Nyad. And she really just was the heart of the movie. Annette Bening and Diana Nyad are the inspiration, but Jodie Foster's character was the engine and the heart of the movie. And it's some of her best work that I've seen from her in a while. So American Ferrera, she had that one great scene and I was like, yeah, that's cute. But I mean, it was okay. And Emily Blunt, I mean, she was great, but I just, it's Jodie Foster.
It was lackluster. It was vanilla. It was so vanilla.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen that character before, so I just want somebody, something that either like inspires me or somebody that I can say, whew, I can't see the movie without them. And that just Divine Joy Randolph, she really did it. So, but I just got to go with Jodie Foster. So I'm looking forward to this year's Oscars. I think there are some diverse films in there. I think we have a good selection, but it's still the same old Hollywood. So, I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I'll definitely be watching tomorrow at 7 p.m. because they moved it back an hour. Poor people in California got to start at 4 o'clock. But they will have a great show, and hopefully no one punches anybody. And it could just be a good celebratory time. And hopefully we'll see a lot of
let's not have anybody ruin their careers again. So that was,
you just hate to see that kind of stuff. But I'm hoping for something interesting to happen that's unpredictable. I don't want it to just be here's your award.
Let's have something interesting in an award speech or in an unexpected award to somebody, rather than an unexpected, you talked about my wife, I'm going to smack you in the face.
Yeah, no, we don't want any crimes being committed unless it's
no assaults on TV and live TV. Thanks.
No. Unless it's just a crime of good selections. Yeah. So that is it for us. And next week, we'll do an Oscar recap to talk about kind of what happened. And then we'll also look at a couple of sequels. We'll check out Dune 2. We're going to go to the movies and check out Dune 2, as well as Aquaman, the Lost Kingdom. I know you're looking so forward to that, Patrick.
It's a DC movie, so yeah, we'll give it a shot. It can't be worse than some things I've seen.
Well, I don't think so, but you never know. But definitely, thanks to everybody who watched us. Pat, here's to you, buddy. The green, I know you drank all your...
I'm just sitting here just drinking it. I don't understand the problem.
I know, but
great stuff.
Yeah, say goodnight to the people.
Good night, everybody. Make sure you are taking care of yourselves and go see movies in the theaters.
Hey, and everyone, thanks for showing up. And we showed out. And we will see you next time. Take care.